Fifth graders, today we're combining Module 4, Lessons 11 and 12 because they're both about word problems. Okay, it's just 2 lessons of the same thing, so I figured we can combine it into one day. Today, as you can see, your learning goal is I can solve and create word problems. So you have to not only be able to solve word problems that are given to you, but you have to look at a scenario or look at a tape diagram and make up a word problem that goes along with it. Okay, and all of our word problems today are going to involve fraction addition, fraction subtraction, and fraction multiplication. Today is an example of this kind of problem. It says Kim and Courtney share a 16-ounce box of cereal. How many ounces are in the full box of cereal? 16 ounces. Good. That's probably important, but we don't know yet. We got to read to see what the question's asking. By the end of the week, Kim has eaten 3/8 of the box of cereal, and Courtney has eaten 1/4 of the box. What fraction of the box is left? Okay, so what we want to find out is what fraction of the box is left. We note that to start out, there were 16 ounces. You'll notice I'm drawing a picture. Don't forget that every time we solve word problems, we have to RDW, read, draw, and write. Okay. By the end of the week, Kim ate 3/8 of the box. So to show how much Kim ate, I have to divide the whole box into 8ths. And show that Kim has eaten 3 of those 8ths. Okay. We also know that Courtney has eaten 1/4 of the box. I know that 1/4 is the same as how many 8ths, since I've now split my box of cereal up into 8ths. 2 8ths. So I can show that Courtney has eaten 2 8ths. C for Courtney. It's asking what fraction is left. Well, how many sections are there that are left? 3. And those sections are 8ths. So it's 3/8. Now that's half of the right answer. We have to label it. And whenever we're working with fractions, the label's always going to start with the word of. The question's of what? Is it 3/8 of an ounce? No. In this case, it's 3/8 of the box. Good. So make sure you label it correctly, because that's a part that will show whether or not you truly understand what's going on. So this question's asking us, how many students will each student get? Go ahead and write that down so that you know what the question's asking. Sorry, how many cookies will each student get? We know that altogether she makes 5 dozen cookies. How much is 5 dozen? How much is 1 dozen?
12.
12, right? So then 5 dozens is 5 times 12, which is?
60.
So altogether, how many cookies does Mrs. Diaz make?
60.
Okay, she wants to be sharing those 60 cookies. She was going to share it with 27 students, right? Because that's how many are in her class. But are they all there to get the cookies?
No.
And that day, if you're absent, sorry, no cookies for you. We're not going to save you cookies. You didn't come to school, you don't get cookies. So are there going to be more or less than 27 students who get cookies?
Less.
How much less? Well, we know that 1/9 are absent, right? Which means that 8/9 of her 27 kids are there that day. How can we find out how many kids are in 8/9 of 27? Well, we know the word of means,
Time.
this is the same as 8/9 times 27, which is the same thing as 8 times 27 all over 9. Right? All of this should be familiar to you?
Yes.
Now, 8 times 27, we could do that, but I could simplify my work. Do you guys see any numbers in the numerator and the denominator that have a common factor? Taya?
In the numerator and the denominator, if you divide it by 9, they both.
27 and 9 are both divisible by 9. So I can simplify it. I can cross them out. I can't just leave it crossed out, though. What's 27 divided by 9?
3.
So I have to replace that with a 3. I can't just cross out the 9. 9 divided by 9 is?
1.
So I can replace that with a 1. Now my new equation is 8 times 3 all over 1, which is?
24.
So is that my final answer, 24 students?
No.
No. Now I really have the information I need. I need that there are 60 cookies altogether, and they're going to be shared equally by 24 students. Okay, let's draw a picture then. I have 60 cookies, and I want to share them equally with 24 students. Right? Okay, so I can see that I have 60, but I need to share it into 24 units. And I want to find out how much one student will get. So what math equation could I do to do that? 60 divided by?
24.
Good, 60 divided by 24. Could I write that as a fraction?
Yes.
60 divided by 24. How would I write that as a fraction?
60, 24.
60 24ths. Good. So then all I have to do to find the final answer is to simplify it. Are there any holes in there?
Yes.
How many 24ths does it take to make one whole cookie?
24.
Right? Basically what we're doing is we're cutting each cookie into 24 pieces and then giving each person one 24th. So if they get 24 24ths, they get one whole cookie. How much would it take? How many 24ths does it take to make two whole cookies?
40.
Do we have that? How many 24th size pieces does it take to make three whole cookies? Do we have that?
No.
So each person is going to get two whole cookies. And then how many 24th size pieces still?
12.
Okay, what do we know about 12 over 24? 2.5. So instead of giving Jonah 60 little 24th pieces, I could give him two whole pieces and then half a piece. Much easier than cutting each cookie into 24ths and giving him 60 of them, right? What should my label be? Yeah, all I have to do if I don't know is look back at the question. The question is asking me how many cookies will each student get? Well, the answer to that would be in cookies. Okay, very good. This question says, in Mrs. Elliott's garden, 1/8 of the flowers are red. Okay, so if I were to split her garden into 8 equal-sized pieces, one of those pieces would be red flowers. 1/4 of them would be purple flowers, and 1/5 of the remaining are pink. Is it 1/5 of all the flowers are pink?
No.
So this is very important. I wanted to do this question in class because a lot of times we'll see this question or this phrase, of the remaining. It's very important to know if we're finding a fraction of all of it or a fraction of a part of it. Okay, let me illustrate what I mean. In this question, we're trying to find out how many flowers are pink. Oops, that's still my highlighting pen. Great. Okay, we know that there are 128 flowers altogether. 1/8 of all of the flowers are red. 1/4 of all of them are purple. And then 1/5 of the remaining are pink. Whenever you see these different things, sometimes we're finding a fraction of the whole part, but sometimes we're finding a fraction of the remaining. It really helps to draw more than one tape diagram. Let me show you what I mean. We know that all together there are 128 flowers. We know that 1/8 of them are red. So we're going to split the garden up into 8ths. Okay. We're going to show that this 1/8 is red. Okay. Then we know that 1/4 of all of the flowers are purple. We know 1/4 is equal to 2/8, right? So these 2/8 here are purple. Then it says 1/5 of the remaining. How much is remaining after I marked out all my red and purple flowers? What fraction of the garden is remaining?
5/8.
5/8, right? So I'm going to redraw those 5/8 down here. And it says 1/5 of those. So I'm going to split that 1/8 into fifths. Right? I'm going to show, because I've already split, I can't, well, I guess in this case it's the same. That's fine, whatever. Okay, and then, so 1/5 of them are pink. So we're trying to find out how many are pink. Okay. So first we have to find out how many flowers are in 5/8 of 128, right? So 5/8 of 128 is the same thing as 5 times 128 all over 8. I skipped a step there, but is that okay? Do you guys see how I got there?
Yeah.
Are there any common factors? Well, right off the bat, I know that 128 and 8 are divisible by 2. I also know they're divisible by 4, right? I don't know if they're divisible by 8, but that's okay. Let's start with 4. What's 8 divided by 4?
2.
Okay. What's 128 divided by 4? What's 120 divided by 4? 30. What's 8 divided by 4?
2.
See how you can do it in parts? Now, what do you notice between 32 and 2? They're both divisible by 2. So I can do it again. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 32 divided by 2 is?
16.
So now we have 5 times 16. I'm going to rewrite it. All over 1. Which is? 80 flowers. Good. Is that my final answer?
No.
No. 80 flowers is what was remaining, the blue part. But only 1/5 of what was remaining is pink. So now what do we have to find?
1/5 of 80.
Very good. 1/5 of 80, which of course is 1/5 times 80, which is 80 over 5, right? So what's 80 divided by 5?
16.
16. What's my units? Flowers. Oh yeah, 16 pink flowers or 16 flowers.